Welcome to Parenting with Light, Love, and Laughter. I'm Ruth Kongaika, and today we're doing something special. This is an episode for the grandparent who wonders, do I still matter to a teenager? For the grandparent who feels a little out of date, a little out of touch, or maybe just a little tired, and for the parent who knows their teen listens to grandma in a way that feels almost unfair. Let's say it plainly. Grandparents are not background characters in a teen's life. You are not just holiday helpers or birthday gift givers. You are often the steady lighthouse in the stormy ocean of adolescence. And I know what you might be thinking. Ruth, teens barely listen to their parents. Why would they listen to their grandparents? But that's exactly the point. Because when you're a teen, everything feels like a test. Everything feels like pressure. But with grandparents, it can feel like permission. Permission to breathe. Permission to be imperfect. Permission to be loved without a lecture attached. There's a line from Dr. Gary Chapman, the author behind the 5 love languages, that I love because it's so simple you can carry it in your pocket. Love is a choice you make every day. Grandparents, you have special power here. You get to choose love in the small moments. A call, a text, a ride, a snack, a laugh, a tell me more. Now let's talk about what experts keep noticing about grandparents and teens. First one, your presence can be a kind of emotional shelter. Psychologist Dr. Wendy Mogul has this memorable thought. The goal of parenting is to raise a functional adult, not a happy child. That might sound intense, but here's the grandparent twist. You get to help raise that functional adult by offering something parents sometimes struggle to offer in the heat of daily responsibility. Perspective. When a teen is failing math, parents may be doing schedules, tutors, consequences, and late-night worry. A grandparent can hold their chin gently and say, "This moment is not the whole story." You remind them that life has chapters. You remind them that setbacks don't cancel destiny. And that's priceless. That's influence. Second big thing experts talk about. Grandparents help teens build identity. Teens are trying to answer huge questions like, who am I? Where do I fit? What matters? And here you come with stories, roots, and real-life resilience. Dr. Meg Meeker, who has supported families for decades, has said, kids don't need a perfect parent. They need a present parent. Grandparents, I'm going to borrow that and say this. Teens don't need a perfect grandparent. They need a present grandparent. Present does not mean you know every slang word. Present does not mean you understand every app. Present means you show up with your heart open and your ears ready. It means you notice them. You remember what they care about. You follow up. Let's make it practical. If you only remember one phrase from today, make it this. Follow up. A teen says, I have a game on Friday. Follow up. How did the game go? A teen says, I hate my teacher. Follow up. What happened? A teen says, I'm thinking about my future. Follow up. Tell me what you're imagining. Follow up is love with a calendar. Third, grandparents can become safe listeners. And this is where I need us to be honest, because sometimes grandparents can unintentionally lose access to teens by trying to correct them too quickly. There's a quote often credited to Stephen R. Covey that fits perfectly here. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Grandparents, your superpower is not your advice. It's your calm. A teen might tell you something shocking and you feel your spirit rise up, like, oh no, not in my day. But if you can breathe and ask one more question, you might become the person they trust. Here are a few teen opening questions you can borrow. What do you wish adults understood about you? What's been heavy on your mind lately? When do you feel most like yourself? Who makes you feel safe these days? And then this one, which is almost magic. Do you want me to listen, or do you want help solving it? I can already hear someone saying, Ruth, but I'm old-fashioned. I don't want to encourage nonsense. I hear you, but listening is not endorsing. Listening is building a bridge, and you can't guide someone you can't reach. Fourth, your love helps teens handle stress and fear. There's so much pressure on teens today. academic pressure, social pressure, image pressure, and a new category, online pressure. Being judged isn't a sometimes thing anymore. It can feel constant. This is why your warmth matters. This is why your laughter matters. Because laughter is a kind of rest. It's the body saying, I'm safe for a moment. Let's talk about the laughter part, because this show is parenting with light, love, and laughter. If you want to influence a teen, don't just invite them into rules. Invite them into joy. You know what teens never forget? The grown-up who can laugh with them, not at them. The grandparent who shares funny stories, who can admit, I was awkward too. Who can say, let me tell you what I wore when I was your age. And then everyone screams laughing. You can be wise and fun. In fact, teens are more likely to accept wisdom when it arrives with warmth. Here's a quote from Fred Rogers that is so gentle and so powerful. Love isn't a state of perfect caring. It is an active noun like struggling. Grandparents, you don't have to be perfect at this. You just have to keep loving actively. Now, let's address the generation gap, because it's real. Grandparents, sometimes you look at teens and think, this world is moving too fast. Teens look at grandparents and think, you don't get it. So, how do we make that gap a bridge instead of a wall? 1. Become curious, not critical. Ask them to teach you one thing, one app, one song, one game, one phrase. Not so you can be cool, but so you can connect. 2. Share stories, not speeches. Teens are allergic to lectures. But stories? Stories land. Tell them about a time you failed and recovered. Tell them about hard decisions. Tell them about friendship heartbreak. Tell them about the job you didn't get. Tell them about the time you messed up and had to apologize. When you tell your story, you quietly tell them, you can survive your story too. 3. Hold your values, but lead with relationship. Dr. John Gottman, known for his work on relationships, said, people need a lot of emotional attunement, especially when they are distressed. That's a fancy way of saying, tune in, match their moment, see what they feel before you tell them what to do. Now, I want to speak directly to the grandparent who's thinking, Ruth, I want to be close to my teen, but the parents have rules. They don't want me to interfere. Beautiful. Respect matters. We do not want grandparents and parents competing for authority. We want partnership. So here are some grandparent guidelines that keep the peace and multiply influence. Build up the parents in front of the teen. Even if you disagree privately, avoid becoming the cool one by tearing down the parent. That kind of closeness is borrowed, and it always comes with a bill later. Ask the parents how they want you involved. Some families want help with school. Some want help with faith. Some want help with life skills. Some want you to just be the fun emotional home base. Get clarity. And when you see something concerning, don't attack. Approach. Ask questions. Offer support. Now, are we ready for the special part? I'm going to give you a little grandparent toolkit. You can start today. Not next month. Today. Tool number 1. The tiny message. Send a simple message that doesn't demand anything. No interrogation. Just love. Thinking about you today. I'm proud of the way you keep going. I saw something that reminded me of you. I'm here if you ever need me. Short. Sweet. Consistent. Tool number 2. The shared ritual. Teens may not want long, heavy talks, but they love predictable moments of connection. A weekly ice cream, a Sunday call, a short walk, a funny voice note every Wednesday. Make it small enough to sustain. Tool number 3. The secret strength question. Ask them, what's something you did this week that you're proud of? At first they might shrug, but you're training their brain to notice growth, not just flaws. Tool number 4. The blessing. If your family does faith, don't underestimate a grandparent's blessing. Not as pressure, as covering. May you have wisdom this week. May you be protected. May you know you are loved. And if your family doesn't do faith language, you can still speak life. I believe in you. You have good character. You're becoming someone strong. Now, Let's talk about one of the biggest gifts grandparents bring to teens: patience. Parents often have to respond to the urgent, homework due, curfew, chores, attitude. But grandparents, you can respond to the important, character, courage, identity, peace. And because you've lived longer, you can say what teens desperately need to hear. This feeling won't last forever. You can say, you can start again. You can say, I've seen people recover from worse. That's not just comfort. That's mentorship. Let me paint a picture. Imagine a teen who feels misunderstood at home, failing at something, embarrassed by something, and trapped in their own head. They come to you, and you don't rush it. You give them tea or soda, or whatever your house offers. You ask a question. You listen. You share one story. You laugh a little. You don't shame them. You don't panic. You stay steady. That teen leaves your presence taller, not because you fixed everything, but because you reminded them they aren't alone. That is influence. And before we close, I want to gently challenge grandparents who feel like, my best years are behind me. Listen to me. Your years behind you are exactly what makes you valuable. Your experience makes you credible. Your scars, your lessons, your endurance, your kindness, your faith, your humor. That is your gift. There's a quote by Maya Angelou that belongs in every grandparent's pocket. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. Teens will forget half the advice. They'll forget the exact words. But they will remember the feeling of being safe with you. The feeling of being seen. The feeling of being worth your time. So if you're a grandparent listening, here's your mission. Simple and powerful. Be the place where love is easy to receive. Be the person who keeps the door open. Be the voice that says, you can become better. And you don't have to become better alone. And if you're a parent listening, here's your encouragement. Don't underestimate the grandparent factor. Invite it. Protect it. Celebrate it. Because sometimes the message a teen refuses to hear from you, they can finally accept from someone who loves them just as fiercely, but with a different kind of calm. I'll leave you with this. The world is loud. Adolescence is loud. But a grandparent's steady love, that's a quiet sound that changes everything. This is Ruth Kongaika, and you've been listening to Parenting with Light, Love, and Laughter. If there's a grandparent in your life who needs this episode, send it to them today. Not tomorrow. Today. Because your teen doesn't need a perfect village. They need a connected one. And grandparents, you are a big, beautiful part of that village.